Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on, and look at this abstractly, kind of from a bird's eye view, see kind of where we're at. We're going to pull up some liquidation levels and just verify a few key factors. And I do want to say thank you again to the awesome feedback I've had recently from some community members here. Glad everything's working out for you. Deeply appreciate you as well. When we look at the liquidation though, keep in mind there's still a small amount left above the price action, but the price is pulling back now because Asian markets opened up pretty red and it hasn't discontinued. Again, essentially what's happening here is we had CPI data released, and even though the percent was lower than expected, it surged the price action down for Bitcoin. So basically we saw 2.5% correction from Bitcoin, and we had a 2%, basically 2.5% inflation. It basically fell down lower. So with CPI coming out the way that it did, it was mostly positive, but it kind of gives a hint, an indication that inflation is potential reality there. A lot of different fundamentals that you really don't need to concern yourself too much with, because from a technical standpoint, we're still in pretty good shape here with Solana. However, this correction typically occurs based on a lot of fundamentals, and again, Asian markets opening, basically securing profits from that tremendously profitable day from yesterday. Okay, so again, those are all kind of factors here. If we take a look at our point of control, we can see 130 is that local point of control, which is a good sign being above it. Closing above 130, 131, as mentioned previously, is an important factor. Okay, so we really want to be at this current level or higher here later today. Now, Bitcoin is making a bit of a rally here, pushing back with a strong hammer doji candle so far on the 4 hour. So we're going to see if that plays out pretty well, but Solana's following suit within reason. It's not exact, but it's definitely something that's relevant. So let's take a quick look here at liquidation. This is slightly concerning here. We have a ton of liquidation, about 125 to 126. So we might see more shenanigans here from Solana if the price pulls back for Bitcoin. In other words, a candle wick down to 125, 124. That just seems practical at this point. Again, it's not a guarantee, but with us being closer to this lower liquidation level, it implies we might see that hit first. But once again, we closed at 131, 132 over that support range. It would kind of reaffirm the fact that price is probably not likely to continue lower, and we go higher to sweep this upper level, which is a lot larger. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, roughly about $5 to $6 billion in liquidation between 139 and 141. Okay, so again, it's just kind of one of those things that we can kind of see here where the price action is looking pretty good. In the overall sense, it's still okay. We're holding that support range. Okay, so again, looking at the daily time frame, let's recognize a few key factors here with the SMAs. We're under the 20-day SMA. Still important to recognize that we haven't broken bullish yet. Yesterday, we did close right at that previous resistance level at 136. So we can reaffirm the fact that 136 is still a resistance because we truly didn't close above that. It was looking like it was going to and never did. So if you watched my video all the way through, you'd know that closing above that level was important. Since we didn't close above, that gives us cause for a little bit of concern here, but nothing too much to read into. We take a look here at TSI, it's swinging upwards, MACD still converging. We've got a lot of good signs here, minus the fact that we're still under 50 on the RSI. Again, closing above 136 probably would have put us there, and that's ultimately what we're looking for to get confirmation. We basically just need more time to get over this 20-day estimate. So over the 20 on the daily and over 50 on the RSI, that's usually a sweeter spot to consider a long position. Right now, if you take a long, don't get wrong, it'll probably still be profitable considering the way that Bitcoin's recovering. It's still just you still got to recognize though that's a relevant thing here, and it's still very present. Okay. Now, when we take a look at the 4 hour, we can recognize that we are still above the 20. No, correction. We are under the 20-day SMA, but holding above the 50. So again, as you can kind of see this ascending trend here running concurrent with the 20-day SMA, we've lost that. There's potential rejection and continuation lower because of that. Okay. I don't want you to get super concerned if Bitcoin recovers nicely. We will see Solana do the same thing. But being below the 20 is kind of an indication that, hey, the momentum is potentially shifted. We've got to pay attention that we could, in fact, pull back and not to get too blind with a long position. Same thing here with RSI at 50. Being underneath that, which we're seeing Bitcoin barely holding above, this is an important thing to recognize. Staying above that's going to be a big deal for us. So all the more reason why we need a closure at 131 or higher today to be able to have any legs to stand on. We do have a MACD divergence and TSI is getting close to zero. Those are generally unfavorable signs. So I do not like the 4 hour time frame here for Solana. It looks like it's breaking somewhat bearish. We lost our trend line too. A lot of reasons why we just gotta be kind of careful if you decide to take a long position. And what I'll do is I'll update our fibs here based on the larger swing and kind of see we got that 0.618 fib level. 125 to 126 is that support range still. Okay, so that hasn't changed much. I'll update our playout chart here and I'll post that on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, of course. So if you're not familiar, I do provide that as a result of analyzing the videos here or the charts on the video. Let's take a look at the hourly and recognize a couple of things here. First of all, when we look at our TD sequential, we can see we're overextended leading into this support at 131. We went below just because of that typical greed from that sell-off from Bitcoin. We take a look at Ichimoku Cloud. We're going to confirm that we have broken mostly bearish here. All three signs here letting us know that we are absolutely in a bearish type of situation. So hypothetically, the situation is that if the price comes up a little bit higher, you may want to consider a short at this level to the lower range. Okay. Now again, I know it seems crazy and weird to kind of recommend that. I'm not actually saying that you should, but based on this indication, we are coming up to a resistance, and unless we can close soundly again above 133, 134 today, then this is going to continue to validate the fact that we are potentially in a downtrend. And I know it seems kind of contradictory, right? I just mentioned that if we close over 130, 131, we're going to be fine, which is relatively true. That's a support range. It's more a larger time frame support, which is good. We want that. But on the hourly, this is giving us confirmation that potential for further downside is greater. Okay, so just be mindful of that. So that basically just implies that a shorter term descending trend could continue to maintain itself. And if that happens, then we will close inevitably below that level. My speculation here is that the best thing to do is to not trade. I know it seems really crazy, right? Man, this guy's got some nerve to tell me not to trade. But the truth is we're in this weird transition where we're getting confirming factors in different directions on different time frames. When you have that, it's not generally a good sign. We also have a lot of community members in our community that are always talking about market cipher, which is very beneficial, don't get me wrong. There's absolutely helpful things from that indicator. But I would just urge you to be careful with how many time frames you look for confirming factors on. Again, you got to keep it kind of a smaller window in that sense, because if you're using 17 different time frames, the 27-minute chart, the 37-minute chart, the hour-and-a-half chart, maybe a day-and-a-half chart, or a day and 3/4. That doesn't make a ton of sense if you're just constantly just searching for confirming factors. While it's good to do that, it's disadvantageous in the overall sense because you're going to be sitting there trying to convince yourself to find a trade. Okay, you should convince yourself not to take a trade. That's the best kind of trade you can take, honestly. I know it sounds kind of crazy and weird, but hey, I've been in the industry for a long time, survived a lot of markets, and really what it boils down to in these kind of markets right now is survival. It's not necessarily thriving to be the absolute best and trading with $1 million portfolio. I know there's some folks that can do that. Kudos if you can, but it's not for everyone, and it's to get there you got to be careful and very, very conservative, I guess you could say. Anyways, that's just some friendly advice, throwing it out there. Bitcoin does look like it's ramping back up here, pretty strong, nice strong recovery there. Good that that support range has held for us. So just be mindful that with every increase comes a decrease. We could very well see a rejection here soon, but my anticipation is that we see a 130, 131 closure above that level here today for Solana, and that would reaffirm the fact that we're probably still in good shape here, minus this little outlier here. We're going to be closing above that recent resistance term support, and that's important. All right, thanks again. Hope you learned something today. Thanks again so much for watching. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tag is a site. Reference BTCC or Bitunix is the preferred exchanges too. No KYC or VPN required. Links down below. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.